Glad to have you join us on Newsnight. Let me start straight off. Are you a part of this coalition?
Okay. I'll try to decipher what you are asking me because the line is breaking. However, I am part of any arrangement, no matter whatever nomenclature or name, to remove the current government of incompetency, of insecurity, of dividing the Nigerian family between North and South out of power. I'll go into any arrangement for that purpose.
That's fantastic. But that doesn't particularly answer my question. Are you part of this particular arrangement? Ada?
What I'm saying is this. What you see, don't panic. You see, I'm not going to person who keep on panicking over issues. I don't panic. I walk with my eyes wide open. What I'm saying is that today in Nigeria, we've got a government which is dividing Nigerians along North and South, dividing Nigerians along ethnicity line, and also using institutions of the state in manipulating and controlling and coercing, the opposition. For instance, I just saw a program now of the governor of Akwa Ibom, and when I saw him speak, I just pitied him because he's somebody who 2 years ago was unknown in Nigeria, unknown by anybody, who was then honored and dignified by PDP and made a governor. See him talking now. Renouncing his own history, his own tradition, his own legacy. It's just a pity. So to me, coming from the old generation, I'm not really frightened by the way the current generation is moving around. So to me, any arrangement, I'll be part of any arrangement of any chemistry, any configuration, whatever you may call it, if it is going to remove this government out of power, because the government for the first time in Nigeria is now a government not for Nigeria, but then for a political party. The entire government today in Nigeria is not for Nigeria, it's for political party. I mean, how do you imagine the president holding political party function of the APC in the villa? A very, very sacred place, which is sort of Nigerian for all Nigerians, holding party function in the villa. So you could see how low we have sunk. You could see how really the country is literally gone under Tinubu. So, again, I will be part of any arrangement, anything which is going to make sure that this party is fresh out of power. I'll follow that.
Right, glad to have you back. You're still watching News Now with me, India Mogon. We're still discussing with the former Jigawa State Governor, Sule Lamido. Glad to have you. I'm sure you can hear clearly now. The question is, or was, Tinubu's benchmarking of his contributions to democracy and fighting militocracy, considering what you are witnessing now. What sense do you make of his Democracy Day and that speech and what I've just said?
Okay. You see, I feel highly entertained by Tinubu's rhetorics, the way he's dramatizing his own role, in Nigerian democracy. Luckily, we're all alive. Luckily, we're all alive. We're all there. We're all, participants in that particular, sphere of political activity. So I was in the middle of it. Tinubu became relevant and noticeable after Abacha took over government. Before then, he was in the Senate, was the secretary of the party. And with all respect to him, you see, he was part of those people who were supporting Babangida's June12. He was part of it. His own mother, Haja Mogaji from Lagos, was organizing Lagos marching women to come to Abuja to pledge, support for Babangida. I'm saying this because it's simply history. I mean no harm. Don't mean to embarrass him. But then you see, he was actively handing gloves to Babangida. Now, when Babangida saw the fact that he was having a problem with the party, he went to the National Assembly to address them. One infamous speech was, they are trying to incite you. It is you they are against. Tinubu was there. And the IU became very, very firm and straight on the issue of June 12. He called a meeting, then being the only senior elected person in government at that time, as Senate President. He convened a meeting in Edo, in Benin, working there with the governor, where we went there and reaffirmed our commitment to June 12. All right? Babangida was so angry with IU. When he came back, he removed him and put in a better arrow. He put him there so that, so that they can be aligned to Babangida, political kind of machinations. So when Tinubu today, after being a Nigerian president, decide to rewrite history, trying to maybe deconstruct history and then rewrite it, then it is a very, very amusing because he was part of the Babangida was part of June 12. He was part of it. Now it was only when Abacha took over government that Tinubu then became a so-called activist of June 12. Not only him, all those who are talking about June 12 in Nedeko, I mean no harm, I mean no disrespect. I'm simply saying what happened during that time. All of them, those people in Nedeko, where were they on June 11? They had no part in June 12. They had no part of June 12 campaign. They are not part of the June 12 activities. What are you doing? They are never, because most of them are saying they should down look, all of them, because they know they won't work out. So when Abiola won the election, and then after the annulment, they are all very, very passive. But suddenly, after Abacha came on board, removing Sonekam, they became activists. They formed Nedeko. Nedeko was opposed to Abacha, was opposed to election formation. Nedeko was something which was formed, to fight Abacha, not to fight democracy, not to fight for June 12. So whatever Tinubu is doing today is simply reconstructing history the way he thinks it's going to fit his own political interests. But then obviously he was a major supporter of Babangida. Ask Babangida, ask him. So when you talk about, already June 12, what are those characters? Ebute Ere, somebody who replaced Ayu for June 12? Who are the others? All of them. So he ran away. We stayed behind. We fought Abacha. I was detained, because of my fight, but I was detained. Really was detained. So all of us, Adam Churuma, Bola Ege, Yoche Ayu, Kwame, and many others, Bagaji, all of them were there. We fought Abacha. We fought him because we were willing to risk our lives. Tinubu ran away. He was not in the country. He only came back after the whole thing was, after the call was very, very clear. So what I'm saying is, all those advocates of June 12, they are more concerned with the bath water rather than the baby. They are more concerned because most of them were at the end of the meal when the product was being processed. They simply picked up the product. The process which produced the product, they are not there. They're not part of it. They only pick the product. And today it's not about the victor, but it's about the victory more than anything else. So we make this kind of distinction. The difference between the victory and the victor. The Nadeko were more concerned with the victory than the victor. As far as they are concerned, in the bathwater they are trying to use, they are trying to hang on to their own kind of riding on top to reinvent, history in Nigeria. Otherwise, I feel embarrassed for the president, for the way he's talking, honestly. Ask anybody. Go ask anybody. We're all there. Ask Ayu, ask Gerigana. They're all there. Ask Rangiwa. So, what is happening today in Nigeria is simply something very, very laughable. People, who had no political pedigree, who had no political history, who are not known as fighters, are now at the forefront fighting for Nigerian democracy. It's so laughable.
There. I had you talk about Omoeno, and you said you were laughing when he was speaking. If I remember correctly, corrects me, there was a time in the nation that you, along with some other governors of the PDP, switched camp. Isn't that the same thing that Omoeno and people like Obero Wari is doing now?
Maybe you're too young to understand history, maybe, but then go into history. The crisis in PDP in 2014 was purely internal. We were working against what was happening in the party under Babangida June12 and Jonathan. That, let's run the party based on rules and regulations. We should not create any depression for anybody to take advantage. So we are fighting for internal democracy in the PDP. But then at that time, the APC was being formed, and they tried to use the crisis in PDP to leverage our support. And I said, no, look, we are fighting within our party to install more internal democracy. However, if we, the governors, some of us, if you feel that you want to leave the party and join APC, fair enough, do what we did in 1983. In 1983, when there was crisis in PRP, and we left the PRP to join MPP to run for elected officers. I resigned from the House of Reps. I resigned because I said, look, there is no way I can use the fortune of PRP, which produced me, because at the election of PRP, nobody knew Lamido, nobody knew Abakarimi, who are unknown and, unnoticed. It was the PRP and Mala Aminu character and history which was being elected. So if we are going to leave his own party, it's only fair we surrender to him, we relinquish everything about PDP and go and find our fortune in another political party. That's what we did. So we left, I ran from the House of Reps. I came and met Rimi, and Rimi too resigned from office as a governor of the state because there's something called character in us, something called principles. But today, so that's why I say, in 2014, I say, look, all those governors now, if we are going to leave the PDP, let them now resign our offices and then go and find our fortune somewhere in the APC. But I cannot take, the PDP fame, the PDP investment, the PDP treasure, the PDP legacy, and then go use it to fight an opponent. I can't do that. So that's why, really, in 2014, we were simply fighting for internal democracy. And those who left the party went to APC, most of them came back. So it's because today we have no policy of character or principles. That's why we have this kind of problem. Now look at this man. I say, no. Who knew him before now? Nobody knew him. Nobody knew him. So today, people are using, public office to promote their own ephemeral interests. Public office. I just saw we can also talking there, with their programs, paying money to sponsor his own program. And I look at the way, and I just love, the way he was talking, he was posing, in the office talking. So if you remove, this man, you are now showing me, if you remove that office from him, the governor of Akwa Ibom, remove the office, he'll become nobody in Akwa Ibom. Nobody. The same thing, if you remove the office, he's holding as a minister, remove him, he'll become an ordinary person like me. So you see, what I'm saying, if there's something called character and honor and the principles in politics, people, if people are going to change their own political party, they should please relinquish whatever the party gave them and go there and join as individuals, as ordinary people. But when you carry the aura, the authority, the paraphernalia of the office into opposition to fight what made you, that is utterly immoral. So during our own time, I say, no, if I live in PDP, let us resign. When they failed to, I said, fine, I'm not going. I'm willing to resign as a governor just, if I'm going to join APC. I wasn't willing. But then my colleagues said, no, they will not resign. So today you have got, approaches, where there is no character, where there is no depth, where there is no honor. That's the problem.
Let me ask you a very direct, simple question. With what is happening, the coalition, is PDP dead?
PDP is not dead because it cannot die. PDP is the APC. Look at, are you saying Akwabi is dead? Is he dead? Isn't he PDP? This man they are calling Eno, isn't he PDP? Is he dead? So look, there is no APC minus PDP. We are not dead. We are everywhere. That's why people are coming to us. That's why they are using us. In the entire APC, it's only Adam Shimole and Tinubu who are APC. All others were all PDP. I mean, Adam was chairman, was ADP, was PDP, Ganduje. I mean, anybody today in APC is PDP. So we cannot be dead because if we are dead, then the APC is dead. If we are dead, then APC is dead because you're using dead people.
Well, your analogy seems to be flawed because as far as I know and Nigerians know, the Senate president is in APC and a welcome governor honor to APC. But let me just ask you this question. In 2023, you voted for a northern candidate. Another candidate, Atiku, when it was, the issue was southern, the pendulum.
No. With all respect to you, please, with all respect, don't bring dichotomy of North and South into my politics. You know me very well. I don't believe in North or South. I believe in Nigeria. Because Nigeria has given me everything. So when I was voting in 2023, I was voting my candidate called PDP. I was voting for PDP, not for Atiku. PDP, the Nigerian party, PDP, which has put a candidate, not because I'm voting a Southern or Northern, no. I mean, go to my history. I voted Azukwe in 1983. I voted Abiola against Topa. So I've been consistent. It is you who is simply using today's, maybe temperature to judge yesterday, who is making the comment say, your logic is flawed, your argument is flawed, not mine.
Okay. Now, some people are saying their argument is that the formation of ADA, All Democratic Alliance, that the party, the time it's coming is too short to sensitize, mobilize, and give APC a run for its money. Do you think so?
You see, first, why are we coming to alliance? It's very important, because there was alliance in 2014, which produced Buhari. Was Nigeria better off in that alliance? The same alliance produced Tinubu. Are we better off? So to me, alliance should be based on some issues, about the country, its security, its unity, and its prosperity. When we talk about the issues, then you can talk about, election. To me, whatever we do should be done through Nigeria, not through a candidate. Nigeria should be run through Nigeria. Any candidate who want to run should run through Nigeria. We should not have a candidate who put Nigeria behind and lead Nigeria. No. So to me, the coalition I'm talking about is not similar to that we had in 2014. A coalition of anger, a coalition of revenge, a coalition of hatred, a coalition of nothing but ambition. That's what we had in 2014, and that's why the country never gained out of it. because the entire country was left behind, and the ephemeral took over. The interest, the emotion, the vengeance, the revenge, the hatred, and they took over. So what I'm saying, we are going to coalition now, but then the coalition should be based on some issues which the APC have brought on board. Issues which you are used in 2014, but then which were failed. Therefore, the issues first of national unity is very, very important, because today Tinubu is using his own office to divide the north and the south. Talking about this Trancero, this southern road, and then using the carrot in the protest, to support them in terms of patronage, using coercion, blackmail, like it to Okowa, threat, and everything. So you see, we're having a country being run by an emperor who has no level to how far he can go down. He can swing to any level, so long as he attains what he wants. So to Tinubu, it's not about Yoruba. It's not about Yoruba. To Tinubu, it's about him and him alone, his own interest. And whoever is going to play his own role, who's going to do his own bidding, he'll bring him. I've been saying so. It's not about Yoruba. All the Yorubas in APC today, in government, are his own boys who are going to do his own bidding. No more, no less. And therefore, if a Yoruba man, from the south, not his own bidding, he's willing to go and bring somebody from the southeast, or even from the north, so long as we are going to do Tinubu. So Tinubu is behaving like the emperor he is. And unfortunately, he used the psychology and mentality of Lagos, of governing Lagos to govern Nigeria. He came from a very tiny state called Lagos, which was a very small thing, applying the same philosophy, the same philosophy in running Nigeria, which means privatizing the country, making it personal, an industry for him and him alone. That's the problem we're facing. And that's why issue of national unity, economy, security are all abandoned.
Just before we let you go, you just mentioned...
question which is going to be...
You just mentioned security there.
Huh?
Just before we let you go, you mentioned security there. What's your sense of the security situation in the country?
What was it what was it in 2007 under Jonathan? What was it in 2013 under Jonathan? What was it? And then when APC came, to their own coalition to form APC, what were the issues they raised? They talked about security in Nigeria. In 2014, they talked about the economy in Nigeria. They talked about corruption in Nigeria. These are the issues they use to hoodwink Nigerians, isn't it? Fair enough. Now we're flushed out of government. Just lost the election. Fair enough. Now we have today saints, Tinubu and Saint Buhari, who are now our leaders. Now are we better off? Are we better off than we were under Jonathan? It's all a ruse. So the issue they propagated in 2014 are the issues they have failed to address, and that they should they even compounded. So now the ones for it. It is a fact.
Okay. Former Governor Sule Lamido, just a very quick one. There is some section of the Nigerian society who have a grouse against recycling leaders over time, leaders like you. That is high time, no offense, leaders like you should, take a back bench so we can begin to have new leaders, new ideas with a service mentality, unselfish, that can take Nigeria to, if you like, El Dorado.
I agree with you 100%, because what do you see in Buhari after recycling him? What do you see in Tinubu after, so the Nigerian youth are simply reacting based on what they've seen through Buhari and Tinubu. They say, look, these elders, if it's all about people like Buhari leading us as leaders, people like Tinubu don't want you. So they are right, because they feel highly disappointed by Buhari and Tinubu. So it is people like Tinubu and Buhari who have brought this kind of problem to us with the elders, because they fail to meet up with the demand of the youth in terms of expectation. They told their propaganda of lies. They told their lies, we'll do this for you, we'll do this for you, and told their lies. And the youth believed them. Now Buhari been there for 8 years, a disaster. Tinubu, good God save us. So the youth are right, because they are seeing who the elders through the eyes of Buhari and Tinubu. They are right.
We'll leave it there. Former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, thank you for being on the program. Newsnight, according to you, any alliance will do. We watch and see what gives.